Shadow or Death comes for Discipline, but it doesn't trigger Atonement. Mine's Here though, Mine's Here triggers Atonement, but its damage is dog shit. Power Infusion though, Power Infusion is back! For your DPS, can we just move along? All jokes aside, Discipline is pretty dope, and you can catch us on stream playing it on twitch.tv/MarcelianOnline, where we treat Atonement not like you should treat SC, spreading it. Spread the love on all of your party members. Like Spark, we stream 5 days a week doing raids and dungeons and playtesting other specs in Shadowlands. So if you don't want to frown, come on down and drop a brown. Wait, no, that's not what I meant. One of the most impactful changes has to be Mind Blast baseline. Oh yeah, baby, you are a priest once more. Mind Blast is basically a big chunk of shadow damage that translates into a decent chunk of atonement healing. Pop this right after a Schism or Shadow Covenant and kablamo! Keep popping spells because it's not gonna be enough to save anybody, but it will sure help with overall throughput. Mine's Here makes its way to the kit as well. It does little damage, but it is an AoE damage dealing ability that's not Holy Nova. Right now the scaling is a little bit meh. It's nice damage for a healer to contribute to the group, but if you need atonement healing, single target big hitters will always take the cake. You might have heard, Power Infusion is back with a 25% haste to boost your cast speed and the number of incoming whispers. Cast it on me, please. Why use it on you? Your DPS sucks. Go suck a... I'm not supposed to read them out loud? Shadow or Death comes as an execute ability where it deals massive damage to targets below 20% HP. The damage does not transfer as atonement, however, and it will deal it back to you if you don't kill your target. Likely a bit of control, and you can output a fair amount of damage even if you have to take it back to the face. You have Power Word Shield anyways. Mind Soothe is also back and can help with reducing the range of attackers or creating skips with reduced detection range. Nothing I was able to test at the moment, but it is there. The Kyrians of Bastion come with Boon of the Ascended, the most visually pleasing ability to cast. Its power is basically tied to how it scales. Right now, when you cast it, you gain access to Ascended Nova and Ascended Blast for AoE and single target respectively, damage and healing. Yep, it's a hybrid ability that garners you stack of a buff for each target hit depending on the ability used, and once its duration expires, you explode in an AoE damage and healing goodness based on the amount of stacks accumulated. So far, this can work both offensively and defensively, and can be a panic button based on the situation, or just more DPS funnel into a pack or a boss phase. The Necrolords come with the Unholy Nova. This baby is an instant cast, AoE heal, and dot for the enemies. When friendly targets hit the debuffed targets, they get healed for a flat amount based on your spell power. The heal seems to trigger on damage events, not casts, so stuff like Mine's Here can heal for each tick, or quite a bit. This can be a pretty good cooldown to use in things like dungeons, and even in raids. The most amount of usage you would get is still from AoE though, but hey, it's still pretty cool. Fey Guardian comes with the Night Fey Covenant of Ardenworld. This has recently been changed just as I was researching the spec, so we caught it right on time. Activating this, you get 3 Guardians that act as buffs sitting on targets of one of your 3 key spells. Shadow Word Pain makes you restore 1% mana, most likely per cast and not damage tick, meaning you pop the ability and then start putting pain out or purge the wicked. Power Word Shield makes your target take 10% reduced damage, and Shadow Mend increases cooldown recovery rate by 100%. You can only have one of each Guardian up, so Shadow Mending multiple people doesn't work. Your Guardian will stay on the more recent target, and you can have more than one Guardian per target, so yeah. So far, this is a lot of utility to play around with, and a lot of versatility baked into one skill. This could have uses in every content, and it's pretty exciting. Lastly, Mind Games comes from the Venthyr Covenant. This ability deals a decent chunk of damage and debuffs the target, reversing its intent. When it damages its target instead, it will heal it, and when it tries to heal itself, it will take damage instead. Whenever either of these events occur, you gain 4% mana back. The debuff doesn't last long, but the ability itself seems to do a fair bit of damage. That can be scaled up with certain talents, most likely, but until then, Discipline didn't receive major talent changes, but some were definitely addressed. Power Word Solace has been nerfed to have a longer cooldown, but it's still hasted. As far as I was able to test it, it aligns decently with Schism still, but it was one of the strongest choices here on this row, so maybe with this we can see Mindbender taken, or shit, Shield Discipline? I don't think I even said those words before in that order. Shadow Covenant has been reworked into a more thematic and interesting ability. Now it will heal a group of friendlies, as before, but no longer put an absorb on. Instead, it will increase your shadow damage and healing by 25%, but you cannot cast holy spells. This works with Solace, Mind Blast, and so on. It also works against Schism in a way that's very counterintuitive. Usually your DPS window would be Shadow Word Pain, Schism, Solace into Penance and Smite spams. With Covenant, you would want to press Covenant first for the most amount of damage, but you will lose out on an empowered Penance. So likely if you play both, you will go Penance first, not empowered, then Covenant, then Schism, and of course fit in a Mind Blast that will deal almost double the damage. And also Solace. Maybe this can be changed to include Penance, or maybe the Penance damage procs from Power of the Dark Side, since its tooltip says Empower Penance with Shadow, can work within Shadow Covenant. That way you can save up a Penance buff and go into your DPS rotation with the Penance in the chamber to be fired. Lastly, Lenient has been taken away. It was a pretty boring talent, but a strong one. It was the Devotion aura of Discipline Priests. In its place, Light's Caress takes the spot. This makes your barrier heal the target's inside for a chunk when you cast it, and heal friendlies inside once it expires. The ticks of healing are pretty good, but again sounds like a raid option. I mean, it's good in dungeons, but mostly because there are no other dungeons options here, since they scrapped the only dungeon talent. Maybe have it heal for more the fewer the targets are inside? It felt like I was cheated with this change, and really, any mechanic that's not atonement focused or damage prevention doesn't really suit Discipline too much anyway, and feels more like a holy change. Shadowlands comes with a lot of borrowed power once again. It has its pros and cons to be sure, but at the end of the day, it's nice to get new shit. Or all shit we missed. Stuff like Vault of the Heavens, making Leap of Faith cause you to leap to your target and get a second charge of leap as well. This is actually really cool in terms of mobility, which priests have none, and actually they have been asking for this specific mechanic for a while. It will eat a legendary slot though, which is a major pain since you have to sacrifice throughput or other power gains so you can receive some personal survivability. Clarity of Mind could be a raid option. This makes your Rapture Power Word Shield cheaper and apply a 6-second longer atonement. Pair this up with Evangelism and you could see an increase in the amount of raid members you can heal with the window of DPS. It does kind of put a lot of your eggs in one basket. Maybe this will just empower Rapture to the point where you don't have to use Evangelism, but still have a lot more atonement out than normal for a big healing window. Crystalline Reflection makes your shields also heal your target for a little bit and reflect 30% of the damage absorbed back at the attacker. This is similar to the Druid Thorns mechanic, and depending on how the damage scales, it can be a fun option. Is the damage reflected part of your character's output? Does it contribute to atonement? Probably not, but it could be a way to put some defense and offense into a legendary effect, and that's kind of like Discipline Priests. Kiss of Death is maybe the best DPS option for you. It makes Shadow Word Death trigger atonement and have a reduced cooldown. This kind of means you would be using it outside killing blows, meaning you get damaged. But it also assumes you have an atonement on you, so you would get damaged but also heal for a part of that damage. Would the damage dealt back to you also trigger atonement? That may be too powerful, but would make sense. What do you think? One of the burst healing options, the Penitent one, boosts Radiance with a 50% chance to make the next penance free and fire 3 extra bolts. The problem here is the RNG factor. Overall, this can end up in a lot more healing for sure, but it looks like it could be a solution for an "oh shit" situation where you pop a Radiance and heal everyone with an empowered penance. But if you lose the coin flip, nothing changes. If you win the coin flip, it will feel good. Penance is a big part of your rotation, and the Radiance into Penance combo is supposed to be a reactive action that solves a problem. Eating a legendary slot with a 50% chance of working for a crucial combo effect seems underwhelming. Maybe I'm overthinking it too much. Onwards! We went a bit more in depth over the Soulbinds in our Shadow video if you want the details, so you can check it out. Long story short, Soulbinds are secondary talent trees that offer bonuses like Let Go of the Past from Pelagos, which increases your versatility, but also have empty talent slots that you fit in with conduits, of which the potency type would represent the healing throughput buffs you can get. One that could interest you from the Kyrians is Valiant Strikes from Clea, where the crits made by you and your allies will proc a heal on everyone for 5% of their HP and 10% for you once you guys get to 40 stacks. You might not see DPS players taking this since it doesn't do DPS, so likely healers, maybe tanks, would make more use out of it. M&E from the Necrolords comes with a haste amp with Gnashing Chompers. Seems like a dungeon buff or raid bosses with adds buff, but might be too hard to keep up in raids. While how do you say that? Heimer has Forgeborn Reveries that can help you keep your group alive for a bit longer after you die. This can be particularly good for Disc as opposed to other healers since you still have cooldowns like Barrier and Pain Suppression that supposedly do not suffer from the 50% healing done reduction. The Night Fae come with Nia, and Nia comes with Nia's tools, herbs. When casting helpful spells, so heals and shields and defensives, your target gets a boost in haste. Seeing as how you pretty much cover your group in atonements or direct heals all the time, this could be pretty good. Not to mention your tank will most likely have the haste up all of the time, and almost all of the tanks love a lot of haste. Unless you want some mastery from Theotar, Nadia seems to be the most interesting soulbind from the Venthyr. With Thrill Seeker, you can get short bursts and boosts of what it looks like cast speed, with maybe some extra damage to one target, from which you funnel healing anyway. Draven seems to be more oriented towards tanks, and Theotar reduces the cost of your transmogs. Priorities. But that aside, the real power will come from the Conduit. Remember the legendary that buffed Rapture? Well, now you can also get a potency conduit called Exaltation that increases Rapture's duration by 2 seconds and its boost to Power Word Shield by 10%. Pain Transformation makes Pain Suppression able to heal your target for 10% of their max HP. This could make you really good at tank healing, and it also reminds me of an Azurite trait in BFA. Shining Radiance buffs Power Word Radiance healing by 5%. Couple it with the Penitent one, and maybe it will just be worth to cast Radiance on cooldown. That way, the coin flip odds will even out eventually over a long fight, giving you some decent throughput. Also, to go with those two, Swift Penitence will make the first Penance bolts, heal or damage, for 15% more. This one is a bit more straightforward, but still good to funnel more of that healing into the initial part of the effect, since that would normally be the most dangerous moments of a group's damage intake. Maybe? Now, all of these numbers will scale since there are 15 total ranks, but among all the conduits I've seen so far, these are not that bad. As much as I dabbled into Discipline, the spec seems to struggle at the moment compared to Holy. It could be because of the gear or the lack of player power not yet unlocked. Light's Caress is super weird in the sense that it's very underwhelming for dungeons, and I don't know if the devs just want us to use Luminous Barrier in Mythics. On paper, it would be the ideal choice mechanically, if not for a few issues. Make Luminous Barrier a 1 or 1.5 minute cooldown, and if needed, nerf the effect to compensate. But you cannot run dungeons effectively as a healer with defensives on 3 minute cooldown. I mean, that's just what the last row is supposed to accomplish, right? This talent just seems like a mechanic change instead of a buff, and using a talent slot for that seems like a power loss. Shout out to the Warcraft Priest Discord community, putting out content and theory crafting like Jada's article on Wowhead. The spec will very likely get some tuning, and maybe even a buff or two, so keep up to date with all of this by checking the community. And of course, thank you to our patrons for supporting our content time and time again. You are of course covering the class overviews, the on cooldown episodes, the mocast, guys. Have you seen our podcast with Noble, Mr. GM, Hero, Soul, and a lot more to come? And let me tell you, those are pretty fun. And hey, you can check them out. We have other class overviews as well for you. And if you'd like to support us a little bit more, if you find this content appealing, check the link down below. You might even get some merch. Something like this. Thank you for watching the video. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care.